podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
So, Paul, did you enjoy it?
I don't know.
Are you a converted England fan now?
I don't know how I'm gonna get through this podcast. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to talk intelligently about this. I've been completely overwhelmed by the experience. I'm not a converted England fan. This is it's a reconnection. Like, I think we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but as a kid and up to sort of probably my early 20s, I was a massive England fan and just fell out of love with them completely. And I'm back in love, Ed. I've fallen head over heels back in love with the England football team. Never ever did I think I'd see the day. How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I mean, I would say that my relationship with England was when I was younger. I enjoyed watching England. From about 1998 onwards, I didn't enjoy watching England because there was a lot of rubbish, there was a lot of hype, and there was a lot of total, utter shouty and all the shouty have gone. And there's some mostly nice blokes and, perfectly nice manager. Bit Tim Nice but dim. I made that reference with producer Tom, and a few of his friends yesterday after the game, and none of them got it because they're all millennials.
Yeah, I mean, because they're not old enough to remember the last time England got to the semi-final of the World Cup. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. When we were growing up, so 1986 got to the quarterfinal, then 90 got to the semi-final, then they weren't in it, but they got to the semi-final of Euro 96. So this was like almost normal. But of course, there's like a generation and a bit of England fans who've never seen anything like it, and it is slightly overwhelming. Like, just the thought that, I mean, obviously could easily lose to Croatia, but the thought that they might be in a World Cup final in a week's time is just, as people will hear, I mean, I'm not joking when I say I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to be able to talk eloquently about this, because my whole experience of this has been like very emotionally led rather than like rational and, thought out and stuff. But we'll get there as the show goes on.
We will. Well, let's talk about some of the games, shall we? I guess we should lead off with England and
okay.
What was much less drama than the Colombia game, an efficient win, and then we can talk about France. Really a dog turd of a game. Absolute stinker. Not surprisingly involving France. Then there's Brazil and Belgium was awesome.
I'm not just gonna take that ridiculous slander, given that the game of the tournament featured France, and of the two protagonists of the France-Uruguay game, it wasn't France that made it a stinker. Like, I'm not having that.
I don't know. Check out France's XG.
Check out the fourth. France's XG is not just down to France, is it? It's also like it's Uruguay. It's Uruguay's job to make that game difficult. That's the idea that France stunk out the place. Like, they were involved in, like I said, the game of the tournament.
All right. Don't get so touchy. I was just leading into our conversation about the games, and then Russia, Croatia, which wasn't an awesome quality game for a lot of it, but had some drama, didn't it? Anyway, let's talk about England, and we can get on to the rest, and then we can preview the semis.
Can we start? Because we recorded this in the middle of the second round, so the penalty shootout hadn't happened, and that was the kind of, that was the moment something inside of me snapped. Basically, that penalty shootout. I couldn't watch the first two penalties until Rashford had scored, and then so I was on my front lawn just like pacing up and down, and then I went in after Rashford had scored because I just could not watch Marcus Rashford miss a penalty for England. But I should have had faith, and then
should have done.
And then Henderson, a decent penalty from Henderson that was saved, as everyone said.
Yeah, but if his gait wasn't so wobbly, then he'd have struck it in, wouldn't he?
Game
Never
watching.
forget, he almost lost it.
Yeah, but Eric Dyer, like when I was standing there waiting, first Pickford makes the amazing save, standing there in my living room watching Eric Dyer about to take this penalty and suddenly being over, and knowing that, this was it to win it, suddenly being absolutely overwhelmed by the sense that, oh, of course Eric Dyer can score a penalty in these circumstances. And then he did. And hearing Southgate afterwards, Pickford afterwards, talking about working with the analysts, and hearing Eric Dyer talking about practicing penalties after long training sessions, and they weren't talking about heart and courage and nerve and all that. They were talking about the fact that taking penalties is ultimately, of course, it requires heart and courage, but ultimately it's a technical exercise, and they got that so right, and that is Southgate right there.
Yeah, that's right. Lots of detail and preparation and sensible, thinking about his squad, his team, and his opposition. And I think that was. It is Southgate, and I think he's surpassed many expectations. I don't know whether progressives in the FA, as they've always been, actually made their appointment for those reasons. I think they probably gave him the job because he was one of the club, but actually it's turned out to be a very sensible one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I guess after this tournament, expectations will be adjusted, won't they? And so he may come in for some challenges. But, he's taken what was, I think, the second youngest squad in the tournament.
Yeah.
With very few caps. And he's moulded them into a team and a squad that are playing for each other, as well as being technically sound and doing all the right kind of preparation. It's the actual game against Sweden. The first 20 minutes, it looked like it was going to be an absolute stinker, didn't it? It looked like a pub game when them heading the ball back to each other, and an awful lot of passes being misplaced, and a lot of nerves on both sides, I'd say, and not too much quality. England grew into it after that, though, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, that first 15 minutes, it was like, oh, okay, here they are. Here's England. Like, they've shown up. They look cowed by the occasion. I mean, this is not a criticism. This is where their kind of youth and inexperience looked like it was showing itself, because they really did look properly nervous in that first 15 minutes. Because obviously, I'm not saying this is like a team of world beaters or whatever, but comfortably handling the ball and passing it around amongst themselves is not something that they should be struggling with as a collective, given their levels of ability in that area.
No, but it really did look like it.
Yeah.
And, it's not often you've seen too many teams, and definitely not in the rest of the semi-finals, looking that sort of technically short of being able to pass the ball creatively and move it, and I guess like it didn't happen for the rest of the game. So England definitely got more into it.
Yeah, I just that, to me, that's not a technical issue at all. That was an entirely nervous. That was just about nerves, because they settled so well. Like, once they scored, they found their rhythm, and in the second half in particular, I mean, the Maguire goal is magnificent. There's a lot of kind of like, oh, England haven't scored many from open play, and yep, they haven't, but that's because they haven't had to, because their set pieces are so good. They
also haven't created many chances from open play, and that is a bit of it is definitely a worry at the business end of the tournament, isn't it? I mean, I think Kane has now. Well, he scored 6 off 6 shots or something like that, or 6 shots on target, 9 in total. So he isn't taking that many shots, and England aren't creating too many chances. The chances they create against Sweden, though, I mean, there were some good ones, weren't there? Sterling probably with 2 very good chances. I actually thought he had a decent game. I know he's going to get a lot of criticism. Did. But he's the only player in the England side that's finding space in between the lines. Lingard's continuing to make those bursty runs, but he's not the kind of player that's going to bring the opposition out of shape. Ali I know he's not fit, I mean, I know he scored, but he didn't have a good game apart from that. He was struggling to really play the alley game, So, there's some frustration there, creating chances, missing them, not creating enough. Against Colombia, it was probably not creating enough. Found it hard to break down a team that didn't want to play very much football. And different against Sweden because they play two up front. They are more open. They were happy to concede possession, but they didn't play complete anti-football. I guess it would have been much, much more comfortable earlier in the game if a few of those chances had been taken.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling was excellent. He missed the chances, but he was crucial to almost everything good that happened to England in that game in a lot of ways. Jesse Lingard was, he was magnificent in that game. He got the assist, a beautiful assist, a goal from open play, but as Daniel Storey wrote on Football 365, sort of quite a free kicky cross for a goal from open play. He addressed the ball almost like a free kick, like Angel Di Maria's goal earlier in the tournament, or Beckham's against Arsenal. It's free kick from open play sort of situation. You're right about Dele Alli. I mean, he definitely looks not quite fit, and also I'm not sure the role suits him that well, which is understandable. Because I'm guessing Sterling gets in his zone quite a bit.
He's playing perhaps deeper than he might want to.
But I think Kane gets in his zone too, because Kane dropped to deep. But mostly it's not even players getting in his zone. It's just that he's one of a three, in midfield, isn't he? So he's only got Henderson behind him in the centre of the park, and Lingard has got that defensive instinct all day, every day, but I'm not sure Dele Alli has it to the same extent. I mean, all right, how much do you want United to sign Harry Maguire? Because for me, it's a lot. It's really a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think he's a much better option. I've been chatting with Kick in the Grass on Twitter about this for some time, and well before the World Cup. I think we were both on board that it'd be a very fine purchase for United. He's very, very comfortable on the ball. He's a good defender, getting better at that. Decent pace, can push in midfield. He's looking, he stepped up a level, which each new thing he's taking on, I think he'd be an excellent purchase. Obtainable because he's at Leicester. It looks like they're going to try and tie him to a new contract. What is more likely, I suppose, and this is not going to be an anti-Mourinho rant, but, given that Mourinho likes sort of proven ability, it might be more likely that United spend a lot of money on Toby Alderweireld and just finance Spurs' purchase of Harry Maguire.
Maguire is also an absolute human giant. The other England players call him Slabhead in training because he's so good at the headers. Greg Johnson calling him the Minecraft Superman, which I just think is beautiful, a beautiful description of what Harry Maguire looks like. But yeah, Jesse, I want to talk about Jesse Lingard some more. You could not ask for more out of him, really, from this World Cup. Maybe one or two more goals, but he scored that one against Panama, and he's got the assist now. I don't know if he's got an assist in a previous game or not, but he's just been so important to England, and it is beautiful to see, and you can see how much it means to him. And I don't even know if I said this last time, but who more embodies the spirit of the kind of likeable, connected with the fans version of England than Jesse Lingard, who's going up and down with his phone after the Colombia game, taking videos of the fans, singing with them. It's massive, that is.
And it's part of the reason why this England team is actually likeable.
Yeah.
So, and he's connecting with the fans. I'm not sure an England team has connected with the fans like this since '96.
No, I mean, definitely not. Definitely not. Maybe 98, there was some of the hangover from 96, but the Beckham thing kind of broke that, and that's partly on the fans themselves for their ridiculous reaction to it. But that was definitely the last time it was anything like this. And it really does matter. I mean, this is very Anglo-centric, so apologies to everyone that's not listening here, but being out in the centre of Birmingham, it was amazing. There was a genuine feeling of kind of togetherness and enjoyment. Football is so divisive often, cities are divided by their football teams, aren't they? But to kind of come together behind the national team and not to feel that icky about it, although like the 10 German Bombers song obviously got an airing because people can't help but be idiots. But, generally speaking, it was positive, optimistic, diverse, engaged, and the whole kind of beautiful meme of It's Coming Home, like It's Coming Home isn't necessarily about England winning the tournament. Like it never has been, first of all. The song wasn't really about that in the first place. It was about the location of the tournament. But the It's Coming Home thing is people caring about England again. That's what's come home. Like that has actually happened. And, you said they might something like they might pay for that later in the tournament or might suffer for that later in the tournament. But that's it. Whatever happens now, we lose to Croatia, that's fine. Like getting to a semi-final of the World Cup is absolutely incredible. I mean, it literally hasn't happened for 28 years.
No, yeah, I actually meant after the tournament, expectations will change, but that's for another day. Yeah, for the most part, it has engendered a very good spirit. Obviously, some idiots jumping on ambulances and people's cars, and actually in my neighbourhood, riding on top of a bus.
Smashing up an IKEA as well, which is so unnecessary.
Smashing up an IKEA, just ridiculous. Yeah. So, all day drinking and football does seem to promote that kind of thing, doesn't it?
It's also been sunny here for like 4 weeks in a row, and it's literally never happened before, so people don't know how to react.
No, that's right. And there's a very good correlation between heat and violence.
Yeah.
Incredibly good. Yeah. Which we'll learn about in the next 30 years as the world heats up some more.
It's to do with the split job that the hypothalamus has to do, because the hypothalamus is both responsible for regulating temperature in the body and also has a massive role to play in mood and habit. So like when it's overtaxed dealing with the heat thing, the other bit of its job goes a bit funny sometimes.
Hashtag healthcast. And also, everyone's drinking loopy juice, including me, because the game kicked off at 3, and as I was just chatting to you off air, I think before it finished, I'd managed to drink 6 pints, which is an awful lot for me, and may have topped it up a bit afterwards as well.
That's a young man's game, Ed. That's a Ed in 1996 game, that is.
Well, I popped round to producer Tom's place after the game for a little barbecue, and as I left to make my way back, they were contemplating going to the pub. Don't know how producer Tom is feeling today, but I may shout a bit.
Sweden created 3 chances, each one saved excellently by the remarkably impressive Jordan Pickford.
Who took some criticism, didn't he, earlier in the tournament from Thibaut Courtois.
He was very, very, very apologetic about that. Said he kind of was really felt like it was properly misunderstood. He was definitely not trying to have a go at Pickford, all that. So good on you, Thibaut, for apologising.
Yeah. Made some excellent saves, especially one-handed down to his left.
Yeah.
Obviously, he saved a crucial penalty against Colombia. And has looked a very solid pick, and I don't think anyone is feeling sorry that Joe Hart is at home. Joe Hart being part of the shouty brigade. I mean, can you imagine if your man Sam Allardyce was still manager? We'd have had Terry in the back line, Wayne Rooney up front, and shouty Hart in goal. Yeah,
no question. That David Hartrick tweet that's gone very viral about the Panama game, England 1, Panama 0, Allardyce saying, Rooney, 76th minute, Allardyce saying, man and match performance from JT, we just wanted to be in with a shot before the Belgium game, and we are. Anyway, that's not what's happened. We live in the beautiful universe of Gareth Southgate, who is certainly no football genius. There are, the substitutions continue to be a bit late and a bit straightforward. He's not a tactical genius, but the job he's done with the psychology of this England team is one of the most impressive feats of short-term football management I've ever seen in my life, because I did not think it was possible for someone to do that with the England team, or to even know that they had to. And I think the fact that he was a player in the relatively modern era, an England player, a high-profile one at that, has and the fact that he's a thoughtful man have combined to really make him the man for the job, in spite of his kind of tactical limitations.
Yeah, right. And I agree with you on the substitutions thing. It's almost always like for like, and sometimes a bit conservative. I don't think he's changed the game with a substitution yet. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think he has. He's not got he's not got an awful lot of depth with which to change a game. I mean, there are a lot of samey players, his options up front are Rashford, who I think he probably just sees as, although it's Sterling who he normally comes on for, he probably sees as actually reserved for Harry Kane. Yeah. Because Sterling's playing a bit deeper, And I guess Loftus-Cheek for Ali is the other option he could make, although this time round it was, I think Dyer came on for Ali, didn't he? So
maybe Fabian Delph, actually.
Maybe Fabian Delph, yeah. Dyer came on late in the game. He has done that a couple of times. I think Rashford got about 30 seconds or something this time round.
Did you see the post-match interview with Fabian Delph where he called his wife an absolute machine?
Yeah. Pumping out the babies.
Yeah, it's like, all credit to my wife. She's an absolute machine, so strong mentally and physically. It's like, he's using amazing footballer cliches to talk about his wife.
Yeah. But look, some fine performances again from England players. Fine collective performance. It was really comfortable and professional. And even when Sweden pushed late in the game, after they were 2 down and they started to try to play a bit, it wasn't as if it really felt like it was ever on the line. This was Pickford made a couple of good saves, but England were pretty comfortable. I thought definitely not overwhelmed at any point, and I suppose it's just Sweden, and they're definitely going to face a much better side in Croatia. This was not an England team that panicked.
No. So we'll do proper full previews of the 2 semi-finals at the end of the show. I guess we should, I have to say, I never thought I'd say this, but reluctantly move away from England. And let's talk about the dreadful clash between France and Uruguay. Uruguay spoiling for all they were worth. And France getting the 2 goals. The one from the brilliant Griezmann free kick where he did the little stutter and forced Uruguay's line out of shape, and then Varane executed perfectly. Like even if you get that ball on Varane's head 100 times, not that many of those go in, I don't think, but he did beautifully. And then the second goal, just one of the most painful moments of the tournament. Watching Muslera, you could see what he's trying to do. He's trying to swipe the ball out and get some distance on it, but he anticipates movement that never comes, and he just swipes the ball into his goal.
Yeah, it was just awful. And not to get all tabloid punditry about this, just catch it. Jeez, it's going straight at you, man. You're a professional. Just catch it.
But presumably, something in his brain didn't process the trajectory of the ball properly, and he didn't know that he could catch it, or he thought that he could very safely get a lot of distance on a good solid clearance.
No, it's bad. It's very bad.
It was
just a bad game overall. And Uruguay tried to be defensively solid, tried to spoil, as I guess everyone assumed they would do. France coming off the back of that win over Argentina, actually finally having come to life in the tournament, couldn't quite sort of take that head on. I think struggled really to create an awful lot in that game. Very low XG on both sides. Not the highest quality of game, but once France had scored from the set piece, like Uruguay had nothing at all, and obviously a massive blow that Cavani was out, because Stuani is no Cavani, is he? He's not even a striker.
He's not,
let alone a good one. So they just had nothing, and France were pretty comfortable in the end.
Can we talk about France's best player in that game?
Let's talk about how he was best player in the previous game as well.
Yeah. I think Kylian Mbappe was probably the best player in the game against Argentina.
Whatever, Mbappe would be nothing without Pogba, launching those balls over the top.
I mean, Pogba. Just Pogba, man. He's having a heck of a World Cup. Someone said, I think was it Miguel Delaney who's tweeted like people that have had a bad World Cup: Neymar, Brazil, Germany, and Wimbledon. Because obviously, who cares about Wimbledon when this is happening? But I think Jose Mourinho's had a pretty rotten World Cup too, given that Paul Pogba's been so good in this game in the knockout stages.
Well, if Mourinho wants to get rid, then I suppose the price will be nice and high. Not that there's an awful lot of time after this World Cup finishes to complete the transfer window. There was a story went around this week that Premier League clubs are regretting their decision to alter the Premier League transfer window, especially since the rest of the Euro was like, nah, we're not doing that.
Especially not this year. This is not the time to do it. But it'll be good for us as people that are going to kind of talk about what's going to happen in the season ahead. But anyway, it was a really fine performance from Paul Pogba, and he's so crucial to this France team. Okay, so they weren't absolutely brilliant against Uruguay by any stretch of the imagination. But I think for a team to be absolutely brilliant against that Uruguay, I literally don't know if it's technically possible. I don't know what Barcelona 2011 wouldn't have looked that good. I mean, they would have won, but they wouldn't have looked good doing it. Yeah,
I mean, I guess so. Barcelona 2011 would have played in front of them an awful lot, but probably found the space to break through. Look, they've got some good players. Godin and Jimenez are two of the finest defenders on the planet.
Yeah.
Torreira looks like a nice player, far too good for Arsenal, which is the rumour that's going around. Bentancur, I think he is. Mm-hmm. Didn't have the best game against France, but he's had a very, very good tournament. And obviously Suarez and Cavani, when he was fit up front, give them some penetration from, single chances if that's what they're going to create. So, you can see why they've done all right in this tournament. And they look the best of the South American teams. And we'll come on to Brazil and Belgium. Brazil just didn't look much in any of their games.
I see.
Maybe against the Mexicans they were very comfortable. The rest of them, not a lot there.
They created so many chances. Belgium was so lucky to get through that game, or at least to get through that game without pens. Like, the amount of chances that Brazil created towards the end of that game, the one that Coutinho side... Let's just move on to that game because there's nothing more interesting to say about the France-Uruguay game. So the one that Coutinho side foots, like, absolutely skies. Neymar's one which Courtois saved, which kind of just ended up drifting a little bit too close to Courtois, but very nearly would have been top bins and unsavable. I just think Belgium were Courtois did well, and I think that Belgium were quite lucky to survive the late Brazilian onslaught, especially since Belgium themselves looked like their legs had completely gone and their heads had gone. In the first half, though, let's talk about that Belgium front three, because Belgium in the first half of that game is one of my favourite moments of the tournament so far, just from a pure football appreciation point of view.
Yeah, Belgium came out brilliantly. They had, they hit Brazil on the break. They lined up in a way that people weren't expecting. Lukaku sort of playing off the right. They lost flexibility there. De Bruyne as this kind of false nine. I don't think anyone really expected that. Roberto Martinez, tactical genius,
and of course, big Marouane Fellaini, fresh from his confidence-boosting new contract extension, bossing the centre of midfield. Fellaini and Chadli, who turned the game against Japan. Yeah, Belgium were very fortunate to get out of that one. Very, very fortunate. They were rewarded with their start against Brazil. And I take your point that Brazil had a lot of shots. I think something like 12 or 14 of their shots were after the 70th minute. It was a lot anyway. Yeah.
and they created a lot at the end, and Courtois made a lot of fine saves. But it's the reason Belgium got those 2 goals and were able to hold the game out was because they outthought the Brazilians. And I just go through Brazil's campaign, and there haven't been too many brilliant moments. So this is a team that won 25 games in a row or something like that. And before. I think they lost 1 and won 24 of their last 25 games. For the Switzerland game, they were very, very fortunate to get that very late win against Costa Rica. Costa Rica just running out of steam. Against Mexico in the round of 16, they were definitely the better side because Mexico always lose to Brazil. Yeah. But it wasn't quite the Brazilian performance. And it's not just having to go at Neymar for the sake of having to go at Neymar. He's just not playing for the team. It's for him, isn't it? And he can be brilliant and he can be ridiculous, but it's definitely all about him. And I'm not sure that does the rest of his team in what is set up to be a functional Brazil team, right? Lots of talented players, but a functional one. I'm not sure he helps it, but they did win those 25 games in a row before the World Cup.
He's had such a stinking World Cup, Neymar. Even though, I've always liked Neymar. I've never been a particular Neymar hater, really, but I've hated him in this tournament so much. So one of my main reasons for kind of having this great deal of kind of not sympathy towards Neymar, but like a positive mindset about him generally is he's responsible for one of the most amazing 10 minutes of football I've ever seen. When Barcelona won that 6-1 to come back from the 4-0, the last 10 minutes, Neymar took over that game, wrenched it by the scruff of the neck and executed on everything to absolute perfection. He scored the free kick, he scored the penalty, he put the ball through for the winner, all in the space of 10 minutes, all with this kind of great level of certainty and assuredness. But this World Cup, he's just been a total joke. I mean, he scored, he's assisted. There was that one where he did, I don't even think he got the final assist, but he put the corner in for a goal and half the team ran over to celebrate with Neymar, which is weird in itself. He's just been dribbling at every opportunity, and the antics are, well, they just don't have any place in professional sport. What are you doing? Get up! This is ridiculous. I feel like a proper old Yadar here. But
yeah, and were you like that when Henderson went down holding his face?
I mean, a little bit, but he didn't do it for very long. Neymar just does too much of it and for too long. The other thing I would want to say about Brazil is how did Gabriel Jesus keep his starting spot throughout this World Cup when they had Roberto Firmino on the bench?
Yeah. No, that's not picked on form, that one. I think they got many things wrong. They're probably going to have to go and have a good hard look at themselves, and it'll be painful because it's now an awful long time since they won a World Cup. And get to the next one, it'll be 24 years. So
24 years of hurt. That last South American team to win a World Cup too. Lots of people have been talking about that.
Yeah,
obviously.
I mean, it has been Europe's World Cup. Although good old English Brexiters, 3 European teams in the semi-final, and England. I'm kidding.
Very upsetting, isn't it? Romelu Lukaku. Man United's number 9, Romelu Lukaku. I mean, honestly, I did say I would struggle at the beginning of this podcast. I know this is mostly just me saying words and then degenerating into sort of a shocked chuckle. Romelu Lukaku's run for De Bruyne's very good goal. Another one of the moments of the tournament for me. He just looked absolutely unstoppable. He is going to score 100 goals for Man United next season.
I think he probably won't, but
no. But he's going to have.
He may score. He's going to have a good season. Yeah. I mean, of course, he'll play a very different role at United. He'll go back to being, United's sort of number 9 and massively isolated all of the time. So he'll enjoy that too. I mean, it was interesting to see the sort of all round game, wasn't it, against Brazil, because he spent so much time out on the right. or cutting in from the right. It wasn't exactly the performance we see from him at United. And there've been many moments in this World Cup when you might say his play was somewhat intelligent. Beautiful dummy in the previous game to help Belgium score the winner against Japan, and loads of great interplay in this game. Complete performance from him.
The Romelu Lukaku situation has been well established on this podcast. We have always been full of praise for Lukaku's work outside of the box, his work as a provider and as part of the link. And when you can hang with De Bruyne and Hazard in the link, because both of them were electric in the first half of that game. I mean, that was Belgium's. They're four really, really good players having brilliant games in Courtois and the front three, and some of their supporting cast doing very well, including Marouane Fellaini. But we know Marouane Fellaini has got the odd big performance in him. This is not news. Marouane Fellaini's limitations are about consistency and all this other stuff. Worth saying as well, shocking defending for Brazil's goal to give hope for, both of my two nations. If we end up playing, I mean, one of them definitely are, but, if the mighty England end up playing Belgium in the final, just show videos of that Renato Augusto goal all over again. Jesse Lingard putting that ball in for Harry Maguire, who's been used as a makeshift centre forward.
That's right. Actually, the Croatian manager this week was talking about, or today, talking about England's propensity to score from set plays, 8 in this tournament, something like that. And Croatia conceded a goal from set play 2. Plenty for mighty England to exploit in the games to come.
Do you think Belgium's performance against Brazil is one of the most impressive in the tournament so far?
Yeah, because it's Brazil and they have this great record and great players all over the pitch. For the first half, first 60 minutes, incredibly impressive. And then, they began to retreat, I think, as you would, being 2 up against Brazil in the quarterfinal of the World Cup. But deeply impressive, yeah. Roberto Martinez, tactical genius. I mean, I mentioned it last week. He's, among the favourites to become the next Spain manager. And Spain have got some real thinking to do. It's almost as if maybe he was a good manager all along and Everton were a bit quick to fire him.
I think he's got something. Well, first of all, there is, of course, the chance for people to learn and improve. But I do think Everton made a fairly reasonable decision under the circumstances. I mean, because they played this weird system where they went... if you look at who scored, it's got it as a 4-3-3, but it really wasn't a 4-3. It was like a 3-2-3-3 or something. I might have got my maths wrong, but they switched formation with the ball and without, didn't they? Because they were definitely going to pulling Vertonghen and company and Alderweireld into the centre with Chadley playing at left wing back when they didn't have possession.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Well, Hazard isn't going to do that defending, and look smart with the ball, smart without it. But they're not perfect as a team. Belgium, for sure, France will be looking at their weaknesses. They'll have a lot of the ball, I guess.
Let's save this for 10 minutes time when we do a preview. And
sure. Well, we've got another game. Yeah. Russia 2, Croatia 2. So after the euphoria of England winning, not quite, unless you're Russian, I suppose, or Croatian. This is not an awesome quality game.
Thoroughly entertaining.
But thoroughly entertaining, yeah, and it sort of went back and forth, didn't it? And the two, I guess once Croatia, because they were getting more and more into the game and, getting a scruffer, hold of the game, and it felt like that they were the dominant team and they scored in extra time, and it, they were still the dominant team, and somehow, fine delivery from Alan Zhigoyev and the very Russian Mario Fernandez nodded it in, and it didn't look like it was going to happen for Russia, but it did. And I have to say I was cheering them on at that point. I kind of managed to forget all the sort of,
stuff.
annexation of Crimea and the human rights record and the extrajudicial killings and the war in Syria and all of that for one moment, and was cheering on the team, partly because they're not that great a team, and it would give England a far better chance in the semi-final.
Cherishev's goal in the first half, my goodness gracious me, one of the goals of the tournament. What a banger that was. I mean, everyone has said this, but Cherishev could have his own little, which one of the 3 out of the 4 of his goals is the best goal of the tournament. But yeah, this one was stunning, and they needed it bad as well, because once Croatia scored relatively early in this game, I definitely thought this could get no, I've got myself all muddled. Cheryshev scored first, didn't he, and gave Russia all that hope, and then it lasted for all of 9 minutes or whatever before Kramaric scored for Croatia. I thought Modric was very, 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 very good in this game.
Well, he's been very good for the tournament, hasn't he? Yeah. Missed the game against Iceland, but he's stopped Modric, and you stop an awful lot of stuff that Croatia does. He's the one that moves with the ball. Still he's getting on a little bit now, isn't he? And he still moves so quickly with the ball and so smartly, breaks in between the lines, creates, scores the odd goal. Got the assist for Croatia's second, and excellent again. And I guess it's Henderson that England will put on him, and it's going to be a super tough job.
Yeah, and we'll definitely do proper previews of that in a minute. This is just a running theme where we because I don't know about you, Ed, but I'm champing at the bit to talk about the semi-finals and really trying to restrain myself and concentrate on these games. But I don't really know what else to say about this one, except that in the end, the right team definitely won, didn't they? I mean, Yeah,
if only for that awful first penalty in the shootout.
The XG, very close, just 0.9, 1.1, so really, really similar. But yeah, my goodness, that was not a good penalty. Was that the one that was dragged wide of the post? Wide of the...
No, that was the second miss. The first one was where it sort of he did a kind of limp Parenka.
Oh yeah. I
don't know what he was trying, but it was awful.
Yeah. He was trying a thing that didn't work, and then the one that got pulled wide as well. And it's just I've almost got used to like really high quality penalty shootouts now, that just loads and loads of goals get scored in penalty shootouts. So when you see sort of 3 penalties missed in a penalty shootout, it's like, have you guys not been watching Zambia versus Ivory Coast 2012 to brush up on how it's meant to be done?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we haven't seen a 14-12 or something like that, have we? All right, so that's the quarterfinals. We can get on to talk about semi-finals. But you know what we've got first, Paul?
Okay, what's that?
We've got some questions.
Okay, wow, okay, right. Oh, some of these are going to be about like United and stuff, and we're going to have to think about accepting the fact that the World Cup's about to end and the stupid Premier League stupid season's going to start.
Let's segue into this by at La Force number 9. I want to say force number 9, La Force number 12, Tariq Amir, friend of the show, asked, where does Smolov's pathetic Parenka rank in your all-time rubbish penalty misses? Does it beat the Zaza Shuffle? No, the Zaza Shuffle is still better because it just looks ridiculous.
The Zaza Shuffle is the best penalty miss of all time. I mean, Zaza has scored plenty of goals doing the Zaza Shuffle, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because no amount of goals scored with that technique can make up for the one miss that you make with that technique.
That's right. How will Paul feel about a France-England final? Asked Joey M_UX. It's Joe Mangini, friend of the show.
I mean, absolutely overwhelmingly delighted because, there's no doubt about it. If it was in any doubt, this World Cup has proved it to me. There's no doubt that I would be supporting England in that, but I would certainly not be sad or anything if France won the World Cup. But in the end, particularly this England team, there's no way I could root against them.
Norman Tebbit would approve.
That's one reference for the kids there. Racist Tory reference for the kids. There's loads of contemporary racist Tory references you could make if you wanted.
Yeah, I see Farage is trying to get on the England bandwagon. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dump him in Russia and leave him there.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be happier.
Come on, you secretly want Lukaku's Belgium to win it, don't you? Asked Special K underscore 2311.
I mean, I would be absolutely delighted for Romelu Lukaku. The only team I would not be emotionally invested in seeing win this tournament is Croatia. And even then, I quite like Luka Modric. But I love Romelu Lukaku. And if he wins the World Cup, I'm not going to be sad, even if it's beating the team from the country that I'm from or my mum's from.
There's going to be some interesting dynamics in the dressing room either way. France, England and Belgium.
I mean, I don't want to talk about United, but my goodness, we've got a lot of semi-finalists, haven't we?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. They're due back at pre-season training soon, aren't they? Luke Shaw has been posting pictures of his training regime. He's been back at pre-season training for some while. He's looking fit.
Yeah, those are some serious abs that Luke Shaw is rocking.
Let's hope he gets a game or two. Ashley Young's had a fine World Cup though.
A really, really fine World Cup and worthy of specific praise for his performance in the Sweden game that I meant to mention. The other thing I wanted to mention is like Russia for all their what are we going to say? Excellent approach to nutrition and fitness. Whatever is giving them the serious fitness edge they've had over their competition. Whatever about that stuff, they've also performed really admirably. The players have done a marvelous job, and I'm sure for the World Cup is richer for having had the host nation get to the quarterfinals. And I'm glad they went out when they did, in terms of their excellent approach to nutrition. But it was fun to see the host nation get to root for their team for a while, especially given how low expectations were going into the tournament.
Yeah, quite. Simon Vaughan, Vaughan82 asks, should United consider signing Maguire? We've answered that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think various people say, is it coming home or it's coming home, and so on and so forth. And Alex Dixon, ABCM SAJ, friend of the show, asks, how many people are asking, is it coming home?
All right, so Ed.
Good take on that, quite a lot.
Are England going to win a World Cup?
No. I mean, France and Belgium are both better sides. Croatia maybe too, although they have more weaknesses. But you never know.
It is much... First of all, as I said earlier, it's already come home. So yes, the answer is yes, it's coming home. Because England are minimum going to be in a third place playoff of this. Like, if you had told me before the tournament that England were going to be in a semi-final against Croatia, I'd have been like, yep, that means it's coming home, whatever happens between now and the end of the tournament. It is home. It's already home.
Doug Cannon _7 says, who's been the breakout player of the tournament for you?
Harry Maguire, I guess.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking that. I mean, have we had a real outstanding star? Look, global scouting networks are developed now that there's no one looking at the World Cup trying to find a new player.
No.
In the days of, a star can emerge from the World Cup. You're never going to know anything new about him. Harry Maguire's been excellent. Hervin Lozano for Mexico.
Yeah. Cheryshev.
Really, really excellent. Cheryshev.
I mean, obviously, Cheryshev came through at Real Madrid, but,
Golovkin for Russia's also been very good.
Golovin.
Golovin, sorry.
Yeah. Inui for Japan. I mean, a well-known player, but I think not someone you would necessarily have thought was going to be one of the stars of the World Cup. Everyone else, I think... Jordan Pickford as well, I guess. If you'd said Jordan Pickford might be the outstanding goalkeeper of the World Cup, I don't think people would have expected that by any means.
No, true. All right, that's it for questions. So we've got some semi-finals to look forward to.
Okay. Let's start with the other one then.
France, Belgium, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be, it should be good. Belgium are not going to sit back. They're going to attack. They've got plenty of players who can cause damage to France. Plenty. I mean, the French backline has been pretty good. I mean, obviously conceded quite a few against Argentina, of all teams. And it's going to be an interesting matchup in midfield, isn't it?
Isn't it weird saying conceded a few against Argentina of all teams when the Argentina goals were scored by well, Di Maria, Aguero, 2 assists for Messi. Of all teams, I can't believe you conceded goals against Aguero and Messi linking up.
I know. Doesn't tell the whole story, that one, does it?
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah, I mean, like, midfield is going to be the key. So, we've got France who will play Pogba and Conte, and is Matuidi going to be fit again? Because he's playing down the left, sort of giving them some security there, which obviously Deschamps likes. Doesn't quite trust to play 3 actual attacking players. Tolisso played against Uruguay, and he's a sort of more of an 8 than a 6, isn't he?
Yeah,
a bit more attack minded than Matuidi, and left-footed, so gave some balance there.
But isn't having a very good World Cup.
No.
So
I don't know if he had a particularly good season for Bayern either, to be honest. And then midfield for Belgium will be interesting because will they play the same system? Does Lukaku go back up front? Was this a specialist system just against Brazil? I kind of suspect it was. And Lukaku may go back up front. Will they retain Fellaini and Witsel in the centre of midfield? There's given France may command more of the ball. Lots of interesting decisions. Probably more decisions to make from Martinez than for Deschamps.
Well, Deschamps gets tired if he has to make decisions. It's just like, we'll just put Giroud up front and then the rest take care of itself. The thing about Belgium's midfield is if this was 12 months ago, you'd say play Moussa Dembele come hell or high water.
Right.
He didn't have a brilliant season, did he? Especially the second half of the season. And he's not been a regular for Belgium ever, really, in the way that you would expect a player of his. Like, he was an absolute star in the Premier League for seasons on end. But Pogba and Kante against Fellaini and Witsel, I fancy France's chances there.
Yeah. They might bring Mertens back in.
Yeah.
And move De Bruyne a bit deeper, give him more quality in the centre of midfield, which they may need.
But
Dendoncker is a very high quality player, but has not featured much in this tournament. I wouldn't expect him to start.
Heavily linked with United this week or last week. And you wouldn't complain about that. But yeah, the thing about bringing in Mertens and putting De Bruyne further back is by far Belgium's best attacking performance was with the front 3 being the front 3. And when you've got a front 3 that can be that front 3, make your front 3 be that front 3, France's centre-backs are... Umtiti made that weird mistake earlier in the tournament with the handball, didn't he? But Varane's been... maybe I would have Varane and Maguire... you've got to have a Uruguayan in there, haven't you, somehow? But anyway, Varane's definitely been one of the star centre-backs of the World Cup and is just a brilliant centre-back. So you want to provide them with different things to have to think about. And especially given you've got N'Golo Kante, so he's very good at kind of minimising the impact that attacking midfielders have on games. But even he's going to struggle to deal with both De Bruyne and Hazard running at him.
Yeah, I think the French defence will be under more pressure than they've been in any game so far this tournament. And as long as Belgium can get enough of the ball in central midfield. I do wonder whether they do really need Witsel and Fellaini in there for this one. Although, Fellaini played himself into the team with that cameo and then that starting performance against Japan and then starting performance against Brazil in which he was very good.
The thing is, when you say they don't need what is it about France that is less offers less attacking threat or less danger than Brazil?
But they don't chuck 5 or 6 players forward all at the same time.
No, I guess not. I guess you're right there. I guess that's very true. In fact, they specifically chuck 4 players forward at the same time, don't they?
It's I'm like, what's this one? This one's Tuesday night, right? And England is Wednesday night. So we will already know our final opponent when it comes around to playing Croatia. Is that jinxing it?
Are you I mean, what are you expecting to happen in this game? Do you have a sense of what? I mean, this World Cup's been. I guess we should say at this point we're previewing the semi-finals with one of the 4 semi-finals that both of us picked before the start of the tournament being involved.
Yeah, that's right. So clearly we know nothing. Although I'm not sure too many of the so-called AI prediction models that all came out before the World Cup that were picking Germany to win, all that kind of stuff, were right either. So. I probably expect France's quality just to play, especially in midfield, just to play be enough in the end. But Belgium got plenty of quality in there. I mean, it's just, I think before the tournament, I was looking at Belgium and thinking, great first 11, not sure beyond that. And it's the same now, isn't it? Have they got as many players that can change a game?
Well, I mean, it's funny because, I'm not too many people more critical of Marouane Fellaini than you and I, but if you are going to give him one description, player that can change a game,
right,
it really is an accurate description of Marouane Fellaini. I mean, for both better and worse sometimes, but, he could definitely have a hugely positive impact on games.
He could. I'd imagine Varane and Umtiti might deal with the aerial ball a bit better than Japan did.
Yeah, possibly so, yeah. I mean, obviously, I hope France win. The 4-3 was an amazing moment. And the Uruguay win, it was a bit like England's win over Colombia, really. It just felt like, good. Glad we've dealt with these people who are behaving badly in this fashion. But, it's nerve-wracking. And I think France will win, and I think France will then go on to win the tournament. But, we saw in the Euros that France have got a kind of failure in them, and you would... This Belgian side have an extraordinary kind of self-belief, and beating Brazil in a quarter-final would have been enormous for that self-belief. You said last week, Romelu Lukaku has been circling the huddle. He's continued to circle the huddle. He's clearly a massive leader in that team, and it's a team which does seem to have conquered its natural tendency to infighting and become a proper unit.
I think credit goes to Martinez there. I praised him earlier, but often he's been seen as just the Spanish Kevin Keegan. And maybe he's a bit more than that, because I think his tactical switch against Brazil paid off, didn't it? Paid off big time. So he obviously thinks about the football a little more than Keegan might have done. But he's also managed to engender a great team spirit in this Belgian team as well. Maybe they won't waste their golden generation.
Well, they already haven't, in a way. I feel a bit like that about the same about England, in a way, that, getting to the World Cup semi-final is a massive achievement. I mean, it just happens so rarely. I mean, we haven't got to one since 90. Belgium haven't got to one since 86. So even getting this far is way beyond the level, Belgium's standard level. What's Thierry going to do? It's going to be a tough day for Thierry.
Oosh. Yeah, no, certainly. Fun day for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Win-win.
So in the end, I expect France just to edge this one. If only because, look, they've got a lot of players that can come off that bench. Fekir, Lemar, we'll see who starts, but plenty of players who can come off that bench and change it if France really need it. Well, we'll see, and we'll see how they perform if under pressure for the first time in the tournament.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but who's going to start is going to be Lloris, Hernandez, Varane, Umtiti, Pavard, Pogba, Kante, Mbappe, Giroud, Griezmann, and either Tolisso or Matuidi, depending on if Matuidi's fit. I can't imagine there's going to be a surprise anywhere in there.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
And then you have got players to change the game off the bench. But to change the game off the bench, you need a manager who's prepared to gamble and take risks to change the game off the bench. And he's brought Fekir on a few times late in games, but he hasn't really been turning to Dembele to add anything, or so. I don't know.
No, that's right. I mean, if Martinez was in charge of this team, Mbappe, Griezmann and Dembele would all start.
Yeah.
And perhaps Fekir too, with Mbappe up front. Or maybe he'd find a room for another one. So,
yeah.
I don't know. But, he's It'll be like, I mean, Deschamps signed a new contract recently. He's not without criticism for the style of play, for sure, and back in France. But if they go on and win this tournament, he'll be staying there forever. You can look forward to his, prosaic style of football for decades to come.
But a bit like Mourinho, my main objection, someone has definitely said this before, but my main objection to Deschamps' style of play is not just, oh man, I love beautiful football, I don't want to see it, although I do and I do, is that surely the best way to get the best out of the current crop of French players is to flipping go for it, because when you've got weapons like that, use them.
All right. England, Croatia.
Oh, God.
What's going to happen in this one? I mean, England now playing I suppose played Belgium before, but so many changes on either side. I don't know how much of a marker that puts down. England were
Literally none. That game did not count.
Did not count. Pretty limp in defeat, but then they didn't really try for the last 10 minutes. So tells you what they were looking for, I suppose. So they're going to play very good. They're going to play a very good team now. They've got what they wanted. Yeah.
Okay, you just said they're going to. That's the second time in this podcast you've called Croatia a very good team. Do you really think that Croatia are a very good team, or is that just the kind of?
So I think they're very good through midfield. Modric, Rakitic, Brozovic, defends, plays a more defensive role. I think they've got some firepower up front. Mandzukic had a decent tournament. Perisic, if he starts, he might not. Bit of a one-dimensional player, but certainly dangerous. Rebic, not has he scored a goal this tournament?
Yeah, didn't he score in the Russia game? Didn't he score the second in the Russia game?
Did he?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. Kovacic, an excellent player, had a tough time at Real Madrid. Some great players. The weaknesses, Subasic, not a great keeper. Also, is he injured? I mean, maybe it was just arse cramp. Odd place to get arse cramp, but there you go. And then Lovren and Gianluca, if they're the starters, you can definitely get at them. So they are a very good team in possession of the ball. I'm sure England are going to be looking at them both from the fact that they conceded a goal from a set piece against Russia, and we'll be looking at their weaknesses in defence too, at least on paper.
Rebic Vida scored, didn't he? Against it was
right.
The header.
But worst haircut ever. Worst. Almost as bad as Pavard's.
Pavard's is fine. There's literally nothing wrong with Pavard's haircut. He scored against Argentina. Rebic did it. That's why he scored.
Right.
I mean, we talked last time about Croatia because their penalties were going on as we recorded the podcast last time, and we kind of called them bottlers. Very Englandy history in terms of underperforming with the kind of golden generation of players, but they've definitely benefited from being in this half of the draw too. I mean, they've benefited from two things. First of all, Argentina were absolutely dreadful in the group stages of the tournament, and Croatia battered them without having to be brilliant. Although they were, Modric, that Modric was absolutely stunning in that game, wasn't he? But they beat Denmark on penalties and Russia on penalties.
Yeah.
And that is two extremely underwhelming results. And it's not like either of those games, the results, they just knocked on the door for ages and got really unlucky, or, worldy performances from keepers or whatever. They have not been brilliant in this tournament. Now, England have not been brilliant either by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm not kind of saying, we're going to batter them, 3 Lions, 10 German Bombers. But, I mean, this is completely trivially obvious thing to say. Out of any team you could have possibly imagined England playing in the semi-final of the World Cup, you would have absolutely bitten their hand off if someone had offered you Croatia in the semi-final, right?
Sure, yes. Of all the teams that United England could have got, absolutely. You'd have picked Colombia, Sweden, and Croatia as your route through to the final. Absolutely. We're not going to talk about that though. When England win, are we? Only beat what's in front of you and all that.
Yeah.
So look, For sure, it's an easier option than Belgium or France or Brazil or Germany should have been, or probably some other teams beyond that as well. But they've definitely got the players who can keep the ball away from England.
Yeah.
If they're disciplined, they won't give away too many free kicks. They know that. They surely seen how many goals England have scored from set pieces.
Yeah.
And that's their job: retain possession. And use the quality in midfield to create chances, and don't be silly at the back.
Yeah, and then it should be a Croatia win on paper sort of thing if they play that way. If they can get their midfield three kind of firing on all cylinders. So how do Southgate and England handle this challenge? Would you go to a double pivot with Henderson and Dyer and kind of push Henderson a bit further forward and allow Dyer just to sit and soak up space against Modric?
I don't think he'll change. I don't think he'll change the balance of the team. I mean, he's certainly not going to move away from a 3-5-2. By the way, your man Allardyce was advocating England go back to a 4-4-2 for the. For the game against Sweden.
I didn't know good things like this were possible when I was advocating for Sam Allardyce. I thought Sam Allardyce was the best we could possibly have hoped for, but it turns out I was wrong.
You've given up on life, I think.
I mean, in terms of the England football team, I properly had given up. I thought that Allardyce could kind of well-organisedly fluke them to a quarter-final.
I'm not sure that he'll change the team. I mean, obviously, Ali would be the one at risk in that central midfield. He's not had a great tournament by any means. Would he change the balance and go to Dyer? There's an awful lot of pressure on Henderson then to become a creative spark in that midfield. I mean, Ali's supposed to be that one, right? I mean, Sterling's coming deeper and deeper throughout the tournament. I'm sure he'll go with Kane and Sterling up front. It's probably the right decision.
Yeah.
Sterling's going to play through the lines in a way that Rashford wouldn't. Does he drop Ali? I can't actually see it.
It's really interesting. It's really... Sorry, carry on.
And actually the natural change would be for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and that's a hell of a game to bring him in for. Yeah,
although a player of his kind of quality on the ball might be really, and I mean with the ball at his feet, like running with the ball as much as anything else, that'd be quite useful. You mentioned that Ali's in the team to be the kind of creative spark in a way, but Southgate was saying, we've been saying to Delhi, you're a goal scorer, get on the end of chances kind of thing when he was talking about the goal. So in a way, it seems like Ali's in the team for third man runs as much as anything else. I don't know how much of a creator Ali really is. He's an amazing goal scorer and a fantastic player to have in a team, but he's not like... I'm using your line here. He's not like a traditional number 10, is he?
Well, no, definitely not. He's definitely not. I mean, England don't have that kind of player.
No, absolutely not. So you would keep this, because keeping that same shape with the midfield three of the one kind of holding and the two very much attacking midfielders in Lingard and Ali, that is an awful lot for them to deal with Modric, Brozovic and Rakitic in the centre of Croatia's midfield. Sure, but I mean, they're not going to go to a diamond, so it is going to be 3 versus 3 in there. Yeah, and there's going to be an awful lot on Henderson's shoulders to track those Modric runs, and he's not going to. Modric isn't going to start in a traditional number 10 role either. He's definitely. I mean, he will be the sort of the key man in there, but he starts from a deeper position. He's outstanding at finding space on the pitch, just wherever it is. Yeah. So he won't be static waiting for Henderson to come and block him off. So it's it's a super tough job for Henderson to do that. He's a bit more mobile than Dyer, I guess. Not as good at passing range probably, but I'm sure that he'll start. I'd be really surprised if Dyer comes in. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. And we'll see how good Henderson is. If he's as good as Liverpool fans think he is, or as bad as everyone else thinks he is. When you say everyone else, you mean United fans, right? That's right. That's the one else. Yeah. Anyone else count? Henderson's having a real good tournament, by the way. This will be a very different kind of test for him, though, and probably
he's having that good a tournament.
Really?
He's no Jesse Lingard, is he?
No, I mean, absolutely not. That's the one moment real club bias has like properly infected this show, as well it should. You talked me out of it. I was quite optimistic watching Croatia really, really labour their way to a penalty shootout victory over an extremely limited Russia side who are nowhere near as good as England. So you've kind of talked me out of that by explaining exactly how they're going to detonate England. But what I'm hoping is Modric's teammates will once again kind of underwhelm because, they're not all that up front. Mandzukic is a fine player, but the rest of them, not. You'd imagine that England's sort of magical back three, or Harry Maguire +2, would be able to deal with.
Stones had a fine tournament, by the way.
Yeah.
Kyle Walker's sort of grown into it. It's not necessarily his natural position.
That is very, very kind, by the way. Not necessarily his natural role.
Trippier's had a great tournament, by the way. I remember when Walker went to Manchester City, I remember us talking about Trippier because, it was obvious then that he was his delivery of the ball was excellent. And I think many Spurs fans were not crying too much when Walker left and Trippier was going to be given a chance. Yeah. But he's had a really good tournament.
The one thing I don't quite understand is why he doesn't take the corners on both sides. I mean, I guess it's about shape, really, and counter-attack or whatever, but Young takes the corners from the other side. And that doesn't... It seems like, why wouldn't you just get Trippier to do a Beckham and take them from both sides?
Right. Yeah, probably fair enough. Midfield will decide it, I think. And if England get enough of Modric, and hey, Modric's 32, just played 240 minutes in the past week.
That's true, yeah. That is true.
It might factor into it. I know England had the extra time as well, but they are a younger team. Maybe that will play a role if England, still in it come sort of 80 minutes or so.
I meant to say about the France-Belgium game, one of the really nice things about this is like two real, potentially good sides with all their weapons in hand, because it's like there's not injuries, there's not suspensions, there's not it's these two teams can go at each other full bore, and I guess we're kind of hoping that England have had they had the tough one against Colombia, but they weathered the storm against Sweden and didn't really have to expend vast amounts of energy, either physical or, crucially, emotional. Because it wasn't a crazy roller coaster that they just about scraped their way through. And we have seen that take it out of teams along the way through tournaments. The fact that they had kind of a comfortable passage should mean they are ready by Wednesday night. Few hours more rest as well since they played first. Anyway, I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know how much you're caught up in the sort of magic of it, but to me, I just can't believe that England are in another World Cup semi-final. I genuinely didn't think I'd ever see it again in my lifetime, basically, because it's been so long. We were children, Ed, and we're definitely not that now.
That's right. 28 years since the semi-final. I mean, it's wrong, isn't it, then England... as one of the big nations of football, have been so poor in all tournaments, whatever. If you look at the way the great Spanish sides of the last sort of 10 years developed, they developed from their youth upwards, and England have been winning a lot of youth tournaments recently. So it may well be the next 10 years or so is very good for English football, and it's been very good over the last 2 weeks or so, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your prediction for this game?
I got away without doing a prediction for the France game, I think. Can I exempt myself from both predictions for reasons of I've got a serious vested interest in both sides and I don't want to jinx anything at all?
We have a vested interest. It's literally called
the United Rantcast,
because this is United. United. Okay. We have vested interest every week and we still come out with bollocks predictions.
But they're not World Cup semi-finals, are they? Ed, come on, it's a different. We're dealing with
Champions League finals, cup finals. There's been plenty of big games. So I'm going to say. Much as I think maybe Belgium, France is going to nick it 2-1.
Okay.
And I'm going to go 1-0 to England. Come on.
Yeah, I went to make my prediction there, and tears sprang to my eyes at the prospect of being in England when they get to a World Cup final. So I'm going to predict maybe I'm going to throw my Les Bleus under the bus and kind of offset my total jinx allowance by predicting a Belgium and England. No, I think France are going to beat Belgium. Although I definitely can see Lukaku scoring some goals. Okay. This is torture. All right, 2-1. What I should really reconcile is that anything I say now has absolutely no bearing on the outcome. So that's important to remember at this stage. France 2, Belgium 2, and then France win on penalties. And tiring them out, and all their good players get suspended. And then England beat Croatia in normal time 2-1.
Oof. Well, we'll see whether you're correct or whether you've just jinxed the French, which I think you might have done.
I mean...
Almost certainly.
Statistically, it seems unlikely that I'm going to be proven correct. Ed... So where are you watching? Where are you watching on Wednesday? Have you made a plan yet?
Yeah, I think producer Tom's made a plan.
He's producing your World Cup experience as well, isn't he?
He is. It's very efficient. Yeah.
I'm not in the right city.
I was kind of tempted to do one of the big outdoor things with lots of people throwing beer in the sky, but they're very popular.
Yeah, they were all sold out. I think that the way work is arranged, I think I'm going to end up watching the semi-final at home on my own, which I'm slightly gutted by because it was really nice being with people for the quarter-final.
Yeah, it's a bit sad.
It's a bit sad, but my dad...
Well, you can have a bit of a cry wank when Croatia win, can't you?
I'm not going to do that. My dad will phone me every 7 minutes, which is what happens when England play. My dad does not follow football. He followed football for one summer in 1966 and literally, and I do mean literally, cannot have a conversation about England without mentioning Bobby Charlton. Every single time. It's quite remarkable. So I'll be talking about Bobby Charlton a lot, I guess.
Very good. Well, maybe when you're your dad's age, you'll be talking about Jesse Lingard.
Yes, England and Man United's record ever goal scorer, Jesse Lingard.
Maybe. He's got some catching up to do.
Yeah, sure
anyway, well, enjoy the game, and listeners enjoy the game too.
Apologies to all our listeners from around the world who don't care about any of this.
I should look at the stats, see how many listeners we have in Croatia. It's probably not too many, but sorry, lads.
Yeah, sorry. We definitely have some in both Belgium and France, though. So, anyway, I don't know whether we're going to be able to squeeze in a World Cup final preview show, but we will definitely do a World Cup wrap-up show afterwards. Then we'll probably take a week off and then be back for United's pre-season.
We'll see. I mean, if England do get to the final, we may have to do an emergency 20-minute version or something like that.
I think that might be necessary. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Come on, England, etc.
And so on.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week.
Hi everyone, producer Tom here. Now, I'm 29, and in my 29 years, I've had a love-hate, well, honestly, more of a hate-hate relationship with the England national team. I did grow up here, and to be honest, I found them very difficult to care about. But this World Cup has truly managed to change all of that. It's been bloody brilliant. What is normally divisive has turned into something unifying and given those of us living here in the UK the chance to be part of something that feels like it's a little bit special. From Harry Kane's last-minute winner in the first match, one song has defined that feeling, and that song is Three Lions. We thought in the spirit of that, we'd look back at the great and mostly not so great England World Cup songs over the years. Apologies to our many non-English listeners, as this is unabashedly and undeniably England-centric, but to be fair, it's coming home.
We're not creative enough, and we're not positive enough.
It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home.
We'll go on getting back, getting back, getting back.
hello, Patreon backers. So just in case you're not absolutely sick of England talk, just wanted to talk about the music a little bit. I mentioned in the main show that the song "It's Three Lions" and then the whole kind of "It's Coming Home" thing is not just about the prospect of actually winning things, but has a sort of broader meaning than that. And it made me think, let's have a chat about the history of England songs. Ever bought an England record, Ed? Do you think?
No. Okay. Of course, Three Lions wasn't a World Cup song either.
No.
So.
Oh, I mean, it became one, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it was reissued for France '98 as well.
Well, it's got whole new lyrics, and it's got kind of clips of people singing the song at Wembley in '96 in it and stuff.
Gareth Southgate, the whole of England is with you. Oh, it's saved!
We still believe. We still believe. We still believe. We still believe. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming.
It has a nice extra texture to it, although the people that have Three Lions '98 above the original Three Lions, not having that, lads. Absolutely not having that.
No, that's wrong. Anyway, yeah, it's survived the test of time, hasn't it? Somewhat,
Yeah.
As a chant, and Badil and Skinner are raking in the royalties right now.
The Spotify streams must be a nice new source of revenue for them. It belongs to a lineage, that song does, which in the olden days, right, before any of you lot were born, or most of you lot were born at least, football squads, including Manchester United, by the way, used to gather round in recording studios and sing terrible songs over bad synth backgrounds to well-known tunes mostly, and it would quite often get to number one just before the FA Cup final. There were the odd exception, like the brilliant Tottenham Chaz and Dave songs. The rock shot Tottenham, they are the Super Spurs. Everybody knows they're the football connoisseurs.
It's a novelty record.
Yeah, it's a really good novelty record though. But yeah, they were like the bad kind of novelty records mostly. So in 1986, the England squad, famously in, I think, 1970, there was 1970 there was the song Back Home, which kind of topped the charts and was quite a bit of a cultural icon. And that was the sort of theme generally. But then in '86 there was We've Got the Whole World at Our Feet, which is a kind of nadir of football songs in many ways.
Yeah, but it's, the standard formula.
Yeah.
They all got around a recording studio looking like twats and sang a crap song.
We've got the whole world at our feet. There's not a single team that we can beat. We'll all be dancing in the street, 'cause we've got the whole world at our feet. We're on our way to playing next year.
And then suddenly, for some reason, everything changed. How did New Order end up doing the official England song?
I have no idea. I'm sure there is a backstory there which I haven't researched. But it was New Order and Keith Allen, right? So double cultural icon there. I'm sure you all know Keith Allen as Lily Allen's dad. In fact, you're all too old too young to even know who Lily Allen is because she was successful like 10 years ago, and you're 12.
Take him on, you never give up, it's one-on-one. Express yourself. It's one-on-one. Express yourself. It's one-on-one. Express yourself. You can't be wrong when something's good, it's never gone. Love's got the world in motion, and I know what we can do. Love's got the world in motion, and I can't believe it's true.
So I'm reading this directly from Wikipedia because I couldn't go on without knowing what had happened. But the Football Association press officer, David Bloomfield, who the nation owns a debt of gratitude, contacted Tony Wilson because he loved Joy Division. Right. And Tony Wilson was like, yes, I'm in. We are absolutely in. Now, the England players themselves were kind of embarrassed by the idea of being associated with a football song because they'd grown up seeing the terrible ones and didn't want anything to do with it. Of course, the great exception to that was John Barnes, who participated in stunning style.
One goes. You got to hold and give, but do it at the right time. You can be slow or fast, but you must get to the line. They'll always hit you and hurt you. Defend and attack. There's only one way to beat them. Get round the back. Catch me if you can, 'cause I'm the England man. And what you're looking at is the master plan. We ain't no hooligans. This ain't a football song. 3 lions on my chest. I know we can't go wrong.
Yeah. More than he ever really did for England. That's harsh.
That goal at the Maracanã.
Yeah, and you know, there was the cross for Lineker to get one back for England. You know, brave England losing out to the cheating RGs in the quarterfinal. Or something like that. Barnes definitely not doing the round the microphone sing along. He's a great performance there in a great 80s tune, even though this was 1990. It's clearly 80s synth.
The video is really interesting because it looks incredibly cool and it makes the England players look really cool. And I think this is the first time football seemed cool in any way. Like football was Shoot magazine and Match magazine in the 80s. Like the idea of Mundial in the 80s would have been like unsustainable in any way, which is ironic given how much Mundial loved football from the 80s. But this, like John Barnes with the scoop neck in black and white on a kind of council, like with council estate tower blocks in the background on a football pitch, doing keepy uppies while New Order sing, and then he's kind of got the confidence to do the rap. It was something quite special, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, completely different video as well as style of track. Still featuring, I'm just watching it now, still featuring some really dodgy haircuts.
Oh, that's Chris Waddle, isn't it? Chris Waddle with an actual mullet. Yeah,
and Gazza's not that far off. Well, he's got he's got some of it. Chris Waddle, he was a player.
He was. The thing about that song though is Italia 90 generally changed the British public's relationship with football in the way it was televised, the kind of the mainstreamness of it, and there was kind of the precursor to when the Taylor Report happened and the demographics all changed and all that sort of stuff, and that Italia 90 sort of Ness and Dormer and all that played a part in that, and World in Motion kind of helped it to feel cool. And then we had 94, England weren't in it, and then 96 this remarkable thing happened, which for the first time ever a football song that had nothing to do with the team at all became the de facto official song of the tournament.
It's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home.
A song written by an actual brilliant songwriter told from a fan's perspective, became the only football song that you could say was I mean, World in Motion was significant and lots of people know the words to the rap, but Three Lions has been chanted for however many years it's been since 1996, 22 years.
No, it's got the perfect mix. It's a pop song. It's super catchy. It's nostalgic. It can be turned into a terrace chant.
Yeah.
It's the perfect mix, and I guess it had to have that mix of sort of David Baddiel's literary qualities, fine writer as well as comedian, and Frank Skinner's sharpness of mind, and the Lightning Seeds, at that moment being a fine pop band, and they all came together with this moment of not the world, Europe coming to England, and the celebration that became. I remember '96 very well. I remember being seeing fans from all sorts of. I was at uni at the time. I think we had Croatia and Denmark and someone else, a few others in Sheffield. And it was a big party, and I think this kind of fueled the spirit somewhat.
Yeah, definitely, and the phrase "song of the summer" is kind of a thing, and there was no doubt in 1996 what the song of the summer was, and it was this kind of pop, this kind of football ballad. There's a brilliant clip from the Euro 96 documentary. I don't know if they showed this during the England coverage recently. I've definitely seen it recently, but I remember it from the really good documentary that Alan Shearer fronted about Euro 96 for the BBC, and Baddiel and Skinner were interviewed about it, and Frank Skinner relates Ian Brodie coming to them with this kind of tune written and saying, like, I really want to write a football song for the summer, but I'm not sure I can really write the lyrics to a football song, and Frank Skinner was like, this is a guy famous for writing bittersweet love songs, and what is Three Lions if not for a bittersweet love song?
Oh, that's right. Somewhat disappointing, the 98 versions. I mean, there's this sort of kind of really tame one. How does it feel to be on top of the world? Super tame.
Very like there's a United equivalent to this song, which I can't remember the name of, a late 90s United official song where they basically just try to sound like a kind of slightly cleaned up Oasis.
Yeah, right. That's it. A few jangly guitars and some meaningless generic lyrics. And then there was the Vindaloo Fat Les thing, which everyone will remember, but it's pile of crap. Come on.
What? Oh my God, that is an outrageous. I am shocked. That song is wonderful.
Where on earth are you from? We from England. Where you come from? Do you put the kettle on? Kick it. Na, na, na.
I'm not sticking it on Spotify too often to listen to it. It caught a theme though, didn't it?
I've listened to it like probably 20 times in the last 2 weeks. First of all, it's weirdly subversive and kind of inverts expectations about England to some extent. Secondly, it's like catchy as all heck. One thing that's interesting about this is this sort of is part of what happens following Three Lions, which is for about 10 years, there are people trying to recapture the magic of Three Lions. And Vindaloo is the closest it ever got. I mean, you'll still hear the England band playing it, and it's very sort of chantable. I think it's...
Don't tell me you like the England band.
Oh, no, they're the worst thing on earth. We can go back to agreeing about something now. The England band are vuvuzelas, only they don't just happen for one summer.
No. I mean, of course, Keith Allen's involved in this one as well, and he's obviously some of the inspiration behind what this is. I'm still not listening to this.
You should, by the way. It's actually like really catchy, listenable, kind of exciting. It's got this like really good march beat in the background and the kind of...
I know it.
Funnily enough, in this Telegraph write-up of England songs that I've got here, it just says opinion is divided. So clearly we represent some general thing about Vindaloo. Listeners, get in touch. Are you pro or con Vindaloo? Who more than you? I just feel like Switzerland should repurpose that song. We're Switzerland, gonna score one more than you, because they're quite a defensive team and actually have the right number of syllables.
Will be hard for many other teams. Have you caught any of the other World Cup songs this year? Are there any for any of the other nations?
I have not listened to any. There've definitely been times when I have.
No French rap?
La moulette vient de Paname, intouchable comme Verratti ou Mota. Je suis seul raté, t'es sur le bon touche. Affrontera pas marqué donc ça coule ma gros. File mon chèque, on m'a donné la sauce, je connais plus l'échec. Je connais plus l'échec, toujours titulaire comme Keita Chèque. Les négros en redemandent, passe un coup de pied.
Not checked it out, maybe there have been. 2002, I think, sort of strikes me as the worst. It's not surprised that the kind of attempt to recapture the Three Lions lightning in a bottle failed when you look at the 2002 servings, which included Anton Dex on the ball, which is just upsetting. I mean, upsetting for different reasons than there are to be genuinely upset now for whichever one of them it is that's having trouble. But the other one, do you remember Sven Göran Eriksson?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Oh, God.
Bad.
For some reason, that song has always slightly haunted me because the lyrics go, Sven Göran Eriksson. He's a lovely geezer, but don't forget that he's from Sweden.
Sven Göran Eriksson. He's a lovely geezer, but don't forget that he's from Sweden.
And that seems like really sinister to me. It's like, what are you saying? Are you saying that, like, even though he seems like he's a lovely geezer,
he's actually one of those dirty foreigners?
Yeah, exactly. We can't really trust him.
Wow.
Very upsetting. Yeah. England Crazy, Ryder featuring Terry Venables, another 2002 offering with a sort of, Terry Venables doing his Frank Sinatra bit. Not a classic by any means. I think what we're learning here is there are only two good songs.
Maybe we'll get some more after this. Now England have now recaptured the public's hearts after being awful for the last few tournaments.
Yeah, maybe we need some music that might actually be the kind of music that the people in the dressing room are listening to.
Which is what?
I don't know, young.
What's on the playlist?
Young people's music.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all noise, isn't it?
Something with Stormzy. Get Stormzy involved. Have you seen the clip? Oh no, you're not. Out of the three people responsible for the Rantcast, you're probably the least invested in Stormzy. But he's performing in Ibiza during the penalty kicks for Colombia, and Eric Dyer scores, and then he goes into Big Feet Boots, which is one of his biggest hits, and it just has an amazing start. So the whole place goes absolutely nuts, and I think that's going to be a moment that every single person in that building remembers for the rest of their life. I saw a 20-second clip of it on social media, and I'm going to remember it for the rest of my life.
I shall check it out.
Music and football have got a strange relationship, haven't they? Because it is, I mean, you know, we go to the games and sing songs. Pop songs get turned into football chants. Sometimes pop songs are just used whole cloth as football chants. But it's very rare that the conscious effort to blend the two has been successful.
Yeah, very rare. But why should it be? So, I mean, at least now the genre has changed, or 20 years changed. There's more chance because they might actually try and make a decent record. But for the most part, like, decent musicians aren't making songs about football, are they? Yeah.
Apart from the Sultans of Ping FC, of course, and Half Man Half Biscuit.
Right.
Many fine football references in the oeuvre of Half Man Half Biscuit. All right, I enjoyed this. Maybe we've persuaded producer Tom to splice some clips from the songs into this, but he might well not have had time to do so. So if not, go and Google them and play little bits of them while we're talking about them. That'll make it all make more sense.
All right.
Fantastic. And we'll be back with another one of these after the World Cup final. Oh my God. Imagine if it's an England-France World Cup final. It's not ridiculous. It's not it's not much worse than a 50-50 shot, that, right?
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.